Talk about why civil rights in crisis needs to be done. Why I went ahead and said, I have to stand up. I cannot let this be the reality that the people see without some kind of critique of it. So the reality being the loss of our civil and human rights by a group of people who are controlled by greed and arrogance and rudeness and the thought that their way is the only way. It is not the only way. There are a lot of other human beings out here, and we have a right to be here. We have a right to live. So the reason that we have civil rights in place in this nation is because we have a right to live. And that was made apparent a long, long time ago. And that's why people have the right to do things like have control of their sexual identity in their lives, have control of their money and their health care, and have control of all of the things that they need to be successful and supported. So when I started seeing in 2007 and 2008 a state change, a change by state governments to really start limiting rights and then force the breakup of the federal government, which is what this is right now. They're trying to destroy the federal government so that the states can have control and the states can control you. And that's not cool. It's not cool. So in 2009, I started with the gay and lesbian and women's rights portion of Civil Rights in Crisis. I painted it in about 6 weeks. It took me to get a good solid grasp on it. I was really, really sick at the time. That's when I started War on Women, the hashtag, because that's what my healthcare felt like, and that's not reasonable. And so, I'm sorry, I have people texting me. Rusty's at work today. So, anyways, so that's when I started this whole project. At the time, like I showed you in, like I'm going to show you in the images that I have, I actually started the black portion, the African American portion, and then also some things across the world with there were some things that were going on at the time that I felt needed to be addressed, just to kind of put in, because I do have on the gay and lesbian portion, I have some Russian activists. There on the women's right portion, I showed women in Kosovo that have been raped and burned, and women in India and all across the world. So it's important to me that it isn't just about America. There's a lot going on here right now. We got to deal with this. So, that's why it's important to me that this piece is shown in October, and I really need you guys' help to get us there. I am doing everything I can to find a job. I am working with a radio station now. It's DustDevilRadio.com, so you can check it out. A lot of local Vegas music, which is cool, and but it's commissioned, so what comes in, and there's not a lot that's come in yet. I just started. I feel more confident in this situation because I actually have a contract that I feel confident in, but in the meantime I'm still having to deal with it. So any help that you can give us right now, we are under a 5-day right now, so that means that I have about 10 days to get the money together. I need about $2,700 to pay our rent, because we now have another month coming in. Our rent is like $1,500 a month, but I do have some cash. So she just will not accept. She won't accept anything less than the full amount. So I really, really need you guys' help. And I don't want to keep harping on that in this because this isn't what Civil Rights in Crisis is about. Part of the reason that I don't have a job is because I paint these things, though. So if you support the work that I do, then please support me and help us with this Patreon. Thank you guys so much. You're awesome. When I started Civil Rights in Crisis, my initial plan for it was to include black African American rights, black rights. And so the portion that you're seeing right now of the illustrations was the women's, gay and lesbian, and families' rights, and that's the portion that is done. I did do the King family, and it is part of that piece. I did not do this Jim Crow thing, but it will be part of the new piece, which actually was started to be illustrated right here. There's going to be some changes made to this section, and it actually initially was going to be a circle when I started this whole project. I wanted it to be a full circle. It may ultimately end up being that. You'll when you see the photograph, and I'll incorporate all of that in some video as well. But when you see the actual painting that is done, you'll see that it's not a rectangle piece. It's a series of canvases that are attached together in kind of a mosaic. The same thing will be for the black and brown version. I am going to bring you over here really quick to show you the healthcare portion that I was doing at the time, and I have done this piece as well. This is my unpacked studio. We've just moved in. That's a canvas and it needs to go on the floor. This is my box. It's got all my art supplies in it. See some of them. This is some of my art supplies. My table is a wreck. I've got to get that cleaned off. So today is going to be cleaning my studio and getting it prepped. So the loss of that work this year cost a lot. And then when I got a job where I was told that I was going to have a certain amount of money every week, I took when we were in the middle of needing to move, we were able to get this house based on that income. The employer actually went so far as to go to my landlady, call my landlady up and tell her that, oh yeah, she has a job. She has this amount of money coming in and all of that. And then the day that I sent him my invoice, he told me he was not going to pay me and that I no longer had a job. Or I would never have put us in this house.